Daaaaaali, s'il vous plaît.
Je ne vous entends pas. Là, en ce moment même, il y a une pluie de chiens morts.
These songs of freedom is all I ever have. Redemption songs.
Hello and welcome to this week's film show here on Arts 24, for which I'm joined by critic Lisa Nesselson. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Livy.
Now, we're starting off with Berlin's International Film Festival in its 74th edition this year. As is often the case, French actors and directors very present in the lineup. Tell us more.
Well, 20 films have been announced for the main competition, where the top prize is the Golden Bear. A lot sounds good on paper this year, starting with opening film Small Things Like These, starring Cillian Murphy. France is very well represented across all sections of the event, and Isabelle Huppert will finally be able to accept the honorary career award she could not travel to receive in 2022 when at the last moment she tested positive for COVID. Huppert is in prolific Korean auteur Hong Sang-soo's competition title, A Traveler's Needs, having previously appeared in, I think, 2 of his movies. And among the 31 films in the Panorama sidebar, Huppert can be seen with Hafsia Herzi and Nawal Perez Biscaya in French veteran André Téchiné's My New Friends, the story of a police officer whose solitary life is shaken up by the arrival of new neighbors.
OK, Téchiné, often compelling on relationships, psychological drama. Let's take a look then at a clip of My New Friends.
J'en ai marre de vivre dans l'angoisse qui retourne en prison et puis de devoir l'attendre encore 3 mois, 6 mois. Et c'est dur de l'expliquer à Rose tout ça. T'as bien vu, elle dessine comme son père. Mais c'est toujours des gens derrière les barreaux, on dirait des animaux aux zoo.
Rose n'a pas l'air d'une enfant perturbée.
Mais si, elle fait des petites fugues.
C'est pas bien méchant.
Mais c'est très dangereux à son âge. On ne sait pas sur qui elle peut tomber. Elle a besoin d'un équilibre, d'une stabilité. Moi, je suis pas sûre de vouloir continuer cette vie avec Yann. J'en ai marre.
And some other enticing French talents. Claire Berger has Langue étrangère. Mati Diop's Dahomey addresses the proposed return of looted African artifacts. Olivier Assayas presents Suspended Time. And Bruno Dumont's unclassifiable comedy, The Empire, supposedly inspired by Star Wars, shows what happens when human-looking aliens invade a special corner of France.
OK. Well, you mentioned there that Huppert is going to get that honorary career award this year from 2022. And this year, Martin Scorsese actually receives an honorary Golden Bear for his body of work, which spans 6 decades. So it's about time, I suppose. Well, next, we're going to an artist who also left his mark on the 20th century, still very much a household name, Salvador Dali. Now, here, director-writer Quentin Dupieux attacks this surrealist master. Does he manage to give us some insights into the artist's lives in this short film?
I'm not sure how to pronounce Dali with 6, count them 6 letter A's. Let's just say that the employment figures for the first letter of the alphabet are way up this month. If one or both of these names of real people, Salvador Dali, Quentin Dupieux, make the corners of your mouth sort of curl up like the trademark mustache of the Catalonian artist, then you don't need me to tell you whether you want to see this movie or not. Dupieux, this is his 4th film in just 2 years, drapes his latest deeply silly and yet strangely convincing movie around an intrepid journalist trying to get Dali to agree to a filmed interview, and Dali, played by 5 different actors, maybe 6, depending on how you count, playing hard to get.
OK, well, let's take a look at the weird world of Dali and hear from one of the actors playing the title role.
Dali est probablement
On est là.
le seul artiste encore vivant sur cette planète. La caméra, énorme ou gigantesque? Moteur!
Il y a une chose que je déteste encore plus que les enfants, c'est les dessins de les enfants. Ça, je ne peux pas les supporter.
C'est moi, un plus vieux.
Un vieux, vous?
Oui, très vieux, très laid. En chaise roulante.
Alors voilà, ça commence en enfer.
En enfer.
Dali said the only difference between me and a madman is that I'm not mad. But I think that by inventing this character, little by little he was consumed by it. And he ended up becoming the mask he wore.
So it looks like Quentin Dupieux has had a lot of fun rearranging time and space in this film, then.
He really does have fun with what editing can do, which is pop us in and out of situations, convince us that what we're watching is more or less sincere, and then pull the rug out from under us, sometimes 2, 3 rugs. Daaaaaali and his fellow Spanish surrealist Louis Buñuel together made one of the most incredible short films of all time, the silent masterpiece An Andalusian Dog. That's the one where the woman seems to get her eyes slit open. Dupieux has a field day with the dream logic that Daaaaaali and Buñuel helped pioneer, and that Buñuel, of course, parlayed so well in his solo films. The real Daaaaaali was born in 1904 and died in 1989. The Daaaaaali in this wacky tribute never died and probably never will.
Sounds like a very fitting tribute. Well, next we're going to another French writer-director, Bertrand Bonello. He's been making very distinctive features and short films for about 25 years now. He's also an accomplished musician, and trivia fans should note that he plays the father of the serial killer in Titane. His latest film stars Seydoux and MacKay, and it's called The Beast. Tell us about this one.
Well, The Beast is an eerie look at 2 people, a man and a woman, who are somehow intertwined and who, via structure that really jostles our expectations, seem to meet up 3 times across time and space. Around 1910 in Paris, 2014 in Los Angeles, and in 2044 back in Paris. Now, what do when you have a nagging bad feeling, perhaps a premonition, that follows you for over a century? Do you tell anybody else? Do you keep it to yourself? If I say, Olivia, I have this feeling something terrible is about to happen and I just can't shake it, our viewers will probably watch this program until the end to see whether the lights fall on me or the Seine comes crashing in a tsunami, and we're not that far from the Seine, which overflowed its banks in 1910, a fact the film uses to exquisite effect. Here, what overflows is a delicious sense of unease, but is it warranted?
Okay, well, let's take a look at Seydoux and MacKay as the central couple here, Gabrielle and Louis.
J'ai ce sentiment très profond que quelque chose de terrible va arriver.
Vous vous souvenez, n'est-ce pas?
De quoi?
Que nous nous sommes déjà rencontrés.
Ah oui?
Talked about a strange, rare and terrible thing. You were convinced that it would eventually obliterate you.
I forgot ever sharing such a confidence.
You belong to me.
Now, this tackles past lives and the presumably rather bleak future. We, the viewers, are the only ones in the present. It's a love story and it's sci-fi in a well-dosed mix of French and English. Bonello is definitely suggesting that we humans may end up abdicating to artificial intelligence. I like this a fair amount, but I can easily grasp why it would be more irritating than thought-provoking for many. I think 2 of the director's other films are astonishingly good. His take 10 years ago on the life of Isabelle, which starred the late Gaspard Ulliel, who was about to start shooting the male lead in The Beast when he died in a freak skiing accident, and Nocturama, a film that anticipated the feeling of lockdown and is one of the most suspenseful movies I've ever seen. Like many an interesting film, this one has continued to rattle around in my head since I saw it. Seydoux was born for close-ups in this kind of movie, and I especially appreciate what MacKay does with his spooky character in the 2014 segment.
Well, Bonello always wanted to take risks, so probably worth checking out. Well, next to a meeting of movies and music with a new biopic about the life of Bob Marley. He died very young, at 36 years old.
He did die young, but managed to leave a musical legacy with planetary reach. If you like reggae music, that legacy is obvious. And if you don't like reggae music, his political commitments for social progress in his native Jamaica are worth knowing about. Stage-trained Kingsley Ben-Adir has distinguished himself in the London Theatre, appeared in Peaky Blinders, and played both Malcolm X and Barack Obama on TV.
Okay, well, France 24's Eve Jackson actually spoke to the director of the film Bob Marley, One Love, Reynaldo Marcus Green. They chatted about the challenge of finding the right person to play the musician.
It was long, and quite honestly, I didn't think it was going to happen. We had just gotten so many tapes that were just off the mark. Really good actors, but just not right to play Bob. You know, you needed to be the right age, you needed to be the right look, and obviously you need to be somebody that can take on this legend. So it was a behemoth of a role, and lo and behold, I get this tape out of nowhere, and it's this guy by the name of Kingsley Benadier, who I didn't know anything about. It was a special moment where I started to say, whoa, this is possible, this is possible.
And if you're interested in the more closely examined nitty-gritty of Marley's fascinating life, I highly recommend Kevin MacDonald's 2012 documentary, Marley, which brilliantly looks at the entire trajectory of Marley's life and his place in music.
I must agree, I learned a lot from that documentary. Well, thank you very much for the tip, Lisa, and thank you for the roundup this week. We'll leave you with a glimpse of the biopic Bob Marley, One Love. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, you can get more movie news, arts and culture on our website and our social media channels too. There's more news coming up just after this.
You ready, Bob? No guns can stop this message. I want the world to change. And that time is now.